Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 1st of June. We are entering a new month. Oops, cough drops. Today's already been an adventure. Mom woke me up about 7:30-ish, or I should say right after my alarm went off, and I just kind of went, don't feel like getting up, because I had a hard time sleeping last night. Two reasons why I had a hard time sleeping last night. One was I had a lot on my brain, and the second one is Jerry Ann and I had talked the day before about sleeping in separate rooms for her comfort. She was reluctant about this idea or making this suggestion, even though we did talk about it once before when she was having some very bad leg cramps and whatnot. I agreed because I know when she sleeps catty corner instead of in a straight line, she likes to sleep from one corner to another corner. It helps her back. How, I don't know, but it helps her out. And I had been thinking that maybe if I slept in a different room, I could actually fall asleep at a decent hour and not be woken up in the middle of the night by her getting up out of bed or snoring or just things that you can't always control, that, you know, it's kind of like either it happens because of the way you're sleeping or nature. So I said, sure, let's go ahead and give it a try. Well, I had to sneak in there about 10:30 because I had forgotten to do my nose spray. And she was already out cold. Don't know how long she slept, don't know how well she slept. Just know that she was out cold at 10:30. So I went into the guest room. I had cleaned up enough of the guest room to get in and out of there and get onto the bed without any problems or any major problems. So today's projects are going to be finishing up, cleaning up in the bedroom, because we had pulled out all our summer clothes and changed out our summer clothes for winter clothes, and we have not finished that project. This video may not last very long if I keep on doing that, because I have a hard time trying to talk to people with a cough drop in my mouth, because it sounds like literally sounds like I got a marble or something like that. But I did not fall asleep as quickly as I thought I was going to be, because I still couldn't get all the stuff out of my brain. That factor, I'm always the same way. The first night not being with my wife in bed, sleeping because she's not here or whatnot, I always have difficulty falling asleep that first night or two. So I'm hoping with today's project, finish cleaning up the clothing in the bedroom and then going into the guest room and cleaning that up. Jerry offered to come out in her rollator to help me, and I said we'll see, because there's a few things I know where I can put them. There's a couple things where I'm just kind of like, what is it and where does it go? And if it's one of those things where she goes, well, I don't really have a place for it or a use for it, I'm going to be like, well, since you're saying it's yours and I know it's not mine, you either have a decision. You can either put it into your craft room or dispose of it. You know, let me put it in the back of the van so I can take it to Goodwill. I'm positive that the things that we've been doing lately are for the betterment, for our betterment. The idea, we were going to go to Ohio this weekend for my cousin's graduation, but then the cat got sick. So we both kind of went, I guess that's the universe trying to tell us not to go. Why? I don't know. We don't always, those kind of answers don't always come about. Just there are enough signs out there to say, don't go. We're both a little upset about it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, Maybe there's a reason. I can think of a million different reasons, everything from the cat's health to her health to mom's health to just things that we cannot, things that we can't see or perceive. That's what I was looking for, perceive. So, when you get enough signs from the universe saying no, then yeah, the answer is, I guess we can't go, or we can't do it. That's why me and Jay are excited about camping, because there has been no signs as of yet to not trying to go camping. We're getting the right sales or right discounts at the right time with the right amount of money. So it's kind of like one of those, okay, I guess this is something we're going to be doing. It's that simple. I'm not worried about people saying otherwise, because while the universe is telling me, yeah, you are, and I'm going to listen to the universe and the man who made the universe in the first place, instead of a bunch of, hominids. So, I'm sorry. I'm starting to live the way that I was taught to live as a kid. And that was, don't let your fear outweigh your faith. Well, I have strong faith. I have big faith. So I'm not going to let my fear, or the people who want to try to put fear in me telling me I can't do it, when my faith is bigger than that. And, there's a lot of things. I remember how I used to live, the way I used to think, the way that I used to be when I was younger. Now, that does not mean I'm going to act like a kid. Does not mean I'm going to think like a kid, but I'm going to have kid-like faith in God. Have you ever noticed that children have more faith and understanding in our Savior and Lord than we do as adults? Because they don't have the stresses adults do with everyday life, of worrying about job and income and budgets and bills and whatnot. They're more in tuned into God and what His voice, basically, compared to us as adults. We've lost that childlike faith, because we've allowed the world around us to bog us down to the point where we don't see or understand what God is trying to say or do or tell us. And I really admire children for that factor, because they don't have the adult worries. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to worry about what I have to worry about, but I'm just not going to let it bog me down. I'm not going to let it overload me. I'm not going to let it cause me anxiety or stress or, problems. There's enough problems. People are so worried about tomorrow. The Bible says, don't worry about tomorrow. It has its own troubles. Worry about today. Don't worry about the past. The past is done. You can't undo it. All you can do is move forward and try to live a better life. Worry about today's stresses. Worry about today's troubles. Don't go worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to bring its own problems. And that's the thing is I used to live like that. Before I got married, I lived a simple, one day at a time lifestyle. My wife was kind of astonished that I could live like that, and she was like, how do you do it? How do you focus so readily on what's in front of you and not what can happen tomorrow? Well, there's three different ways to explain that. One, clearly the Bible states about it. Jesus talks about it. Jesus talks about, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own problems. Well, right there, that's a biggie. Because it's like saying, hey, you've got enough to deal with today. Don't worry about tomorrow. The other way I explained it was, when I was reading comic books, not just collecting them, I was actually reading them. My favorite comic book from the late 70s to today, basically, is a series called ElfQuest. Now, I know it sounds like a fantasy to think or try to use ElfQuest as an example for life or how to deal with life. But in ElfQuest, it was almost like the same thing the Bible was saying. In ElfQuest, the elves, or the main characters, lived in what they call the now, or the wolf thought. And that was to deal with what was in front of them at that moment and not worry about what's going to happen later on. That's pretty simple. Pretty simple way of thinking. And yes, I know people are like, well, what if you're a business person? You had deadlines and blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, you're trying to add stress to your life and now my life because you're bringing it to me. But if you focus on the project that has a deadline, you're going to be done with that project before you know it and go, oh, why was I stressing over that? The thing is, we get so entangled in our stresses and our lives that try to force us to focus on what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs out there. I mean, okay, you want to talk about what ifs? Even though scientists are saying it's just becoming more and more of a probability and not a possibility, or a possibility and not a probability. I can't remember which one goes first. But scientists used to talk about, oh yeah, there are X a number of asteroids out there that are planet killers, that if it were to hit our planet, it would cause an extinction level event. That's a major, that's a big what if. And if so many people focus on that what if, how are they going to live their lives? They're going to be so focused on a what if. And I'm saying this from experience, because I used to be that way. I used to be like, what if? What if mom gets into a car accident and I'm not even old enough to fend for myself. I'm barely 17. Who's going to take care of me? What am I going to do? A what if that never happened. I'm old enough now to take care of myself. So if something were to happen to mom, yeah, it would be a little bit of a tragedy. But I'm not sitting here going, who's caring for me? Who's paying for the roof over my head, the clothes on my back, and the food on my plate? I don't have to worry about that no more. So what if that does not need to be worried about no more? But the thing is, I was so concerned for a certain period of time because of what was happening in my life at that time that I was literally going, what if? What if this? What if that? It's an unknown event. It's an unknown time frame. Why are we worried about it? Live our lives like live your life like it's the last day on earth. Now, some people would say, oh, okay, so I should hunker down and just prepare for the inevitable. No, that's not living your life. That's just living your life. Tomorrow may be the end of the day. I mean, literally, atomic warfare that wipes out the planet, a comet that wipes out the planet. You know, the reverse Big Bang, which would be our sun goes supernova and becomes a black hole. You know, so what? Whatever doomsday scenario you can think of that could happen. Live your life like today is your last one. Go out, have fun, enjoy. Don't blow your bank account and whatnot, but just get out of your home. Enjoy your days, enjoy your life and whatnot. I would love to be able to do that on a regular basis. Because of the fact that I'm getting sick and tired. I've been off work for a couple of weeks now. I'm getting tired of seeing the same four walls. I'm getting tired of the same rigmarole. The getting up and trying to wake myself up and get Jerry coffee and wake her up and all that fun stuff. Jerry and I were joking over the weekend about just taking all the stuff that we have now for RVing, throwing it into the back of the van and going someplace. Whether it was just for the weekend, whether it was for a week, we didn't have any plans. We were just like so tired of being here that we wanted to get out. Now I can understand why Jerry wanted to get out, because she's been in that bed for almost a year. Partially because of what the doctor said, partially because of the fact of what I don't want to say demanded, but highly suggested that she would stay in that bed just so she wouldn't aggravate the problems that she has when it came to the leg problem that we knew about. You know, I listened to the doctors went, yeah, maybe she should just bed rest. I did not expect this kind of length or all these things. I knew when I first started hearing the words the doctors were saying that, the reason, one of the major reasons why she was having energy issues and whatnot was because of cancer. We never thought about something like that happening. Not to her. But that's the thing is, you can't plan for stuff like that. You have to live your life like it's your last days on earth and enjoy what you have or enjoy what you can do. It's a less stressful lifestyle. Now, I understand people are probably sitting there going, but Jim, what about paying for your bills? What about earning money to pay for those bills? Okay, yeah, that's an understandable concern. But if you're working your hind end off and you're making that money and you can pay those bills on time, why are you worried about it? If you know that you have the capacity to earn the right amount of money to pay for the bills and not have to worry about them on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, the only thing you need to worry about is how much money you're spending with your money before you pay those bills. That's why in my house, we have a thing where we pay the bills, then we spend the leftover money instead of vice versa, because that's when you get yourself in trouble. I learned that the hard way. The other thing is how we treat each other. Now, I know because of the changing times, attitudes have changed, and there's all different kinds of problems with different groups of people because of the way they feel society should be. The sad thing is there's a very large number of those same folks that think we should be living back in the 50s and 60s before equality, before JFK made it so, or changed the way the nation was thinking about the different races, skin tones, whatnot. I don't see the different skin tones. I try to live my life like Jesus. He didn't care about what your skin color looked like, what your heritage, your background was like, where you came from, what level in society you have been placed or categorized by the times. We're all equal. We're all given the same God-given rights. We all breathe the same air that God created. Unfortunately, mankind is destroying it by deforestation, but we'll talk about that later. As a child of the military, I grew up in a situation where we had different cultures, creeds, beliefs, skin tone, you name it. If you're an American citizen and the military, and you join the military, and the military could use you and put you in training and whatnot to be in the military. Why are we worried about skin tone? Why are we worried about religious beliefs? The sad thing is I see more and more God-fearing men and women trying to slap labels on each other or convince a group of people, whether they're of a different religious outlook or whatnot. Why? Then there's those Christians that I see that look like they've been sucking on sour persimmons all the time. Why? Why are we trying to literally rewrite the Bible for our own personal views? You can't rewrite the Bible. You can read the Bible and sit there and go, okay, this is a reference to that, and that's a reference to this, and I can't tell if there's a contradiction in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Bible is written plain and simple. It's our understanding or misunderstanding of the Bible that makes it difficult. And that is just human error. That's just that part of the human mind that just kind of goes, I don't like these pieces, but I love these pieces. But unfortunately, you have to read and like these pieces, or read and understand these pieces, to be able to get to these pieces to fully understand what the Bible is conveying. I can easily go online and get a degree in bibliology. I did try to go to Ozark Christian College. My main purpose when I went was to be a missionary, because I like to travel. Okay, weird noises outside. I'm like, what the heck? The reason why I didn't have the funding, and I did not realize that I had certain kinds of issues like test anxiety, or which is it is a form of anxiety, which I have been diagnosed with. Now, if I were to go back to Ozark Christian College to get my at least an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree in bibliology, which is just your basic understanding of the Bible and the different characters in the Bible and what the messages are in the Bible, and how to compare verses of the Old Testament to verses of the New Testament. Maybe a minor degree, in, I don't know if I'd say psychology because of my past and my background, or actually at one point in time wanted to sorry, this is, I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna have to check here in a second. Or radio, Christian ministry over the radio. Don't know. Give me a second. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I forgot what today was, and because it's the week of Memorial Day, because Monday was Memorial Day, it's trash pickup day. I'm actually doing it kind of late. I wonder if the weather kind of delayed them because it's kind of rainy and drizzly and whatnot. But anyhow, there's a lot of things I wanted to do in the past. But maybe I'm not supposed to be doing that in the past. Maybe I'm doing exactly what God wants me to do. Don't know. We don't know his plan until that moment when we go, aha! And by the time that happens, we've already done it. And we're just like, oh. Did I do that? I didn't think I was capable of doing that. You know, a lot of people sit there and go, oh, divine intervention is not a real thing. Yeah, it is. I joke about it, but I believe divine intervention guides a lot of us to do certain things that we would not do normally because it's not in our comfort zone. Like me getting on a bus to go to New York to meet a meet a woman my age or a year older than me who has a lot of common interests just to see what would happen. Here we are, almost 22 years later, married, had our ups and downs, learned how to do certain things, relearned how to do certain things. I've started opening up more and more because I used to be one of these people where it's like, I'm only going to let you know what I want you to know because I don't like getting hurt. Just as much as I don't like hurting people. But here we go. Something I would not normally do. What do you call that? Divine intervention? I don't know. Me and Jerry joke. I ain't kidding. Me and Jerry joke about how we met. Not the fact that we met online in a chat room on AOL when AOL had chat rooms. It's the fact that her mom was a big fan of Jim Henson, the Muppet Master. My father's name, or the name he went by, was Jim Henson. Even though that's not the name on his birth record, that's more of a nickname. And we joked that when her mom passed away, she went up and said, hey, I want to meet Jim Henson. And they introduced her to my dad, not the Muppet Master. That's a big joke. We joke about that. We think it's quite funny. You know? What do you want to call that? Divine intervention? What? You know? You can call it whatever you want. I don't know. Nobody's going to know the truth about it until we're upstairs, you know? It's one of those things where you kind of go, how did this happen? Call it fate. Call it divine intervention. You know. It is what it is. I can tell you that much. And unlike some people who were like, oh, she's causing you so many problems, you should divorce her. What's that word? What's that word? My parents, when I was younger and we were in Arkansas, they were having their problems. They tried to keep me out of it because of the fact that they didn't want me to know about it, but I had a sense something was wrong in the house and started sleepwalking. And according to my mom, there was one night where she was literally packed up and ready to head to up to St. Louis, Missouri, where her parents were living. And I literally slept. I don't even remember being, this event. All I remember are the stories because I woke up the next morning and not knowing what was going on. But I had literally sleepwalked and was about ready to open up the door to walk out. My parents were like, what the is going on? Why is he doing this? Third day in a row he's been sleepwalking. First time he's tried to leave the house. What's up? You know? But yeah, my parents had issues because of financing and just all the stresses that the military was causing my dad because of when he first arrived to the air base there in Little Rock. Yeah, it was kind of stressful. It was kind of bad. And things were looking really bleak, and all the different little things that were happening because of issues, mainly dealing with other military people who, yeah, I'll tell you that story some other time, maybe. I don't know. But hey, every couple goes through something in their marriage that causes questions or problems or arguments or just feelings of inadequacy of one form or another, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whatever. Thing is, even though I'm not a practicing Christian, even though I don't go to a church, I'll be honest with you, I've lost my views of the Christian establishment. Not Christianity, not God, not the Bible, no. Just the politics that are now part of the church is starting to go out of control. But I took vows. I made vows to my wife. She made vows to me. We've had our problems. We've worked them out. We've dealt with them. We're still together. Most young people nowadays, the first sign of turbulence, one or both are like, this isn't going to work, and go their separate ways. That's the coward's way out. I'd rather stick to it, work it out, and hope for the best, hope for the better. Now, before I realized that Jerry had cancer and I was having my problems and whatnot, I did explode on camera of all my issues and all the things I was seeing as a problem and whatnot, and didn't talk to Jerry about it first. I was just so frustrated and tired of trying to talk. People were like, "Oh, you should just get a divorce. You should just separate. You should just go your own ways." Blah blah. And I'm like, no, it does not feel right. And if it does not feel right, I'm not gonna to follow that course of action. I stuck through it. I did my best to work through it. We got over it. I have my problems. Yes, I'm a problem person. And I don't always go out looking for problems. It just happens. It's like subconsciously I'm looking for drama, or I'm looking for, unfortunately, negative attention. I like the attention. I just don't like, how do people put it nowadays? I love it, but I hate it. Because it seems like the only way I can get attention is to literally cause problems, cause drama. And it's taken me a long time to realize this. And it's taken me just as long, if not probably a little bit longer, to look for a different outlet. Now, whether I get the attention or not, I'm at that point where I really don't care anymore. Because the attention that I'm looking for, the approval I'm looking for, is not from you guys. You guys are a great crowd. You listen to me. You make make comments. Not all of them are decent. Not all of them are understandable. But you put your point. You put your opinions in there. Everybody's allowed to have their opinions. I'm just not going to deal with the negative ones, or the ones that just seem so look like they're trying to poke the bear to create more drama type deal. But the thing is, yeah, I know I put myself out here. And I know by putting myself out on YouTube, or in the public eye, however you want to put it, that I am going to get the ridicules. I am going to get the people who want to be negative for whatever reason. And I'm starting to go, okay, well, you know what? I think the reason why you're being negative is because you've got something wrong in your life. And instead of dealing with your problem, you want to point out somebody else's problem. Human nature. But as the Bible says, pull the plank out of your eye before you worry about the speck of dust in your brother's eye. Just quoting the Bible there. Or I can remember what the verse said. Yeah, the verse. The thing is, I don't know how many times I read the Bible. I really don't. I lost track after the second notebook. And I realized every time I read the Bible, I get more information or added information. And I tell you what, all right, a lot of people want to think the Bible is the be-all, end-all of learning. Well, no. Because I can tell you this much. Bible's got a lot of good knowledge in there, got a lot of good teachings, but one of the things I highly believe in, and I think it's true, is when you stop learning is when you stop growing. And when you stop learning and growing is basically when you're either physically or mentally deceased. And I think science has proven that the mind is constantly learning stuff, whether we're trying to or not. So, but there are so many good books written on Bible-based knowledge. Boy, am I going to have to slow down on the speech there, because that word was just like, where'd that come from? But I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to view this particular video and go, you need to basically double check your knowledge, double check your information, or something along that lines. And this is my point. This is my comment that I'm going to use towards everybody who does that. I'm not the only one. We all need to check ourselves. We all need to continue reading the Bible and learning more things, because I will tell you from experience, I can sit down and read the Bible from cover to cover in a year's time, because I don't want to try to cram it all at once, because then I'm not learning anything. And I can take a couple months off or something like that, and then start reading it again from the very beginning, and then cross-reference my notes and go, okay, that was year 1, this is year 2. Same verse, same Bible, or same verse, different Bible, but same words. And because I have a Quest Bible, and in the Quest Bible, under the passage of the day, they put their cross-reference material information, what they strongly believe it was trying to convey or teach. And I'll be like, wow, you know, I can take the two of them, compare them, and I've learned something different compared to the first time, let alone the second time or the third time. I lost a bunch of notebooks back in Hurricane Sandy, or Superstorm Sandy, however you want to put her, because they were in a bookshelf or on a bookshelf below the water line. And so I had to start all over. Big whoop. You know what? Maybe every so often you need to start all over. Maybe every so often you need to not worry about what other people say, and either rejuvenate yourself or recreate yourself. But either direction. I will tell you this much from my own experience. If you try to be the same person every day, every year, it does get dull, it does get boring, and that's when the devil wants to play. Keep recertifying your position in your beliefs. Now, I know for myself, I have read all kinds of different religious texts, from Christian texts to Jewish texts to, just put it this way, just about every religion except for 2 or 3 of them I've read. I tried to read the Book of Mormon. I'm sorry. Basically, the Book of Mormon is just like Not that I'm putting them down or anything like that, but now I understand why some people that I know in some circles don't say Mormon. They do a slip of the tongue and call them morons, but that's not me. They want to believe in John Smith and what he found and blah blah blah. But hey, you know what? I have no place to question their stand. That's between them and God. Let's see, what was the other book that I could not read because one, they didn't have a translation, and two, yeah, they usually don't like people who do not follow their way of life to read their information, and that's basically Buddhism. I know the basis and premises of Buddhism, but try to dig any deeper, and it's just kind of like, what? I don't understand. And the other one that, well, I'm not going to talk about it because I did read it, and I'm on the fence of their way of life because it's still very secretive. Actually, it's two different groups, old school groups that are very secretive, and you can read some of the materials from books, but reading the materials don't always give you enough information. Sometimes the materials romanticize the beliefs, and that's Wicca. And most mainstream Wiccas do not talk about it, nor announce that they're Wiccan. And the other one is Druidism. Druidism is such an old school religion that if you can find text on it, most of it's going to be hearsay and not actual practitioners of Druidism. A lot of people think, oh, that's just a character class in D&D. No, they're real people out there that were druids. Not like the game information or anything like that, but they had their secret society and their secret meetings and, you know, things that nobody knows about because nobody really talks about it. You know the name, you know where it began, you know the premises of what they are, but that's about it. Same with mainstream true Wiccans. They don't talk about it. You can pick up a book and read what some people have written, but unless you're a practitioner, you really don't get the full gist of it. Shamanism, well, there's enough information out there on shamanism that's pretty close to the truth of it all. There are some people who've written books to either put the fear of shamans into people's hearts or romanticize the lifestyle of a shaman. A lot of shamans that I've heard about are pretty much reclusive. They don't like dealing with people in general. They'll deal with one or two people at a time, but not whole groups. Because, well, what they're known for basically is for their skill in healing and spiritual guidance. And having more than one or two people during a session of healing or spiritual guidance can disrupt the flow of the spirits. So I've been told. But I was born and raised Christian. I still have my roots in Christianity. I just do not agree with the mainstream modern day Christians. I'm trying to put it nicely because, in fact, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I read the Bible. I believe what the Bible says. I believe we're supposed to live like the Bible. I don't see it. I don't see it in modern day Christianity or modern day churches or groups of people who say, oh yeah, we're Christian. Well, act like it. Come on. You'll say you're a Christian, but you'll turn around and deny the help that people need. You'll deny helping hungry children, widows, orphans, your fellow mankind. Christians are supposed to help each other. And it don't matter if you're a Christian or not. So a lot of people hear that word each other and go, oh, okay, so we're just going to go out and help fellow Christians. No. Let me give you an example. When Superstorm Sandy hit New York, and a lot of people in New York are not all Christians. New York is divided very strongly between Catholicism and Judaism, not Judeo-Christians, Judaism. So you have the Jewish people who strongly believe in the Jewish ways, and then you got the Catholics who believe in their ways. And, well, neither group is super willing to just stop and help the other group. Well, Hurricane Sandy came along, and basically what I'm telling you about the two different groups not always willing to help each other is what I saw. Now, there may be cases out there that I don't know about that, everybody helped each other out when it was necessary. But they wouldn't go out of their way to do it. But when Hurricane Sandy came, one of the groups that came to help the people of New York clean up their homes and prep it for rebuild or whatnot was a group known as Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse is a group that was created by Billy Graham to go out and help those in need during a natural disaster crisis. Now, Billy Graham, a lot of people know who Billy Graham is. He was a big televangelist, person. But he's got all these little projects like Samaritan's Purse and a few other different similar deals. And I was kind of surprised because I did not think there would be any group like that except for maybe Red Cross or some other federal group going around helping out people. But these people were volunteers from their home church down in Alabama, down south. Now, their area is known and prone to have hurricane damage and destruction and all that fun stuff. They came up on their own, voluntarily, in a bus to help out those who needed the help in New York to basically dig themselves out or get their homes cleaned up. I wasn't expecting it. I appreciated it. Every day they came. Sometimes it was a different group. Sometimes it was the same group. They'd come and tear down the drywall and tear out the insulation or anything that was water damage, things like that. And I was very appreciative because it was like, I can't really take a lot of time off of work. They need me to come in and help clean up the store and my department, or the department I worked in, not my department, where I worked, basically. I'd go do that for a couple hours, come home, help out around the family house, Joanne's house, father's house, whatever. And at nighttime, we would go back to where we were staying outside the red zone, up north of the red zone where she worked. Because where she worked as a house coordinator for AHRC, which is basically the Association for Handicapped. We don't use the word retarded children no more, but handicapped. Well, not just children, handicapped children and adults. She ran a group home with, I think, 6 various stages of handicapped adult women. They were all capable of doing their own thing. They just needed guidance and to be watched so they didn't hurt themselves or burn down the house, and make sure they took their meds and went to their appointments and all that jazz. So that's where we were staying during and after Hurricane Sandy or Superstorm Sandy, however you want to call it, until we decided to move out of New York to here in Missouri. Which everybody was like, why are you moving to Missouri? It's got tornadoes, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'd rather be I'd rather be blown away than washed and blown at the same time. That was my joke. But it was only a once in a chance 100-year storm. Well, according to predictions to scientists, it could become more frequent, which it has. And I don't want to deal with that. No. If I had my druthers, I would have moved to, like, Colorado, where maybe once in a blue moon a minor tremor, but maybe every other year a whiteout condition, which is easier to survive unless you're under an avalanche than anything else. And just, oh yeah, we're going to get a major storm here in the next 2 days. Oh, time to hunker down. Let's go to the grocery store, buy up all the, all the supplies we can, or all the supplies we need to last for a week or so. And just hunker down at home. Because usually when bad storms like that happen, everything closes. Everything closes. Unless you happen to be brave enough and got a big old pickup truck with a plow and a pair of tank treads on the back end. Yeah. But, hey. You gotta learn how to take the good with the bad, and we just didn't want to take the bad no more in New York. I mean, it wasn't just the weather. It wasn't just Superstorm Sandy. It was the weather, the traffic, the constant noise, the dangers of being mugged or shot or having your house broken into or any of that stuff. And, I wasn't too worried about someone trying to break into my house, because, like, one, the house we were in was old and creaky in the floorboards, and oh yeah, it might have been easy to jimmy the door, but that first spot right there in front of the door, you step on it and it's like, oops. Anybody hear that? Okay. Of course, I told Jerry if I had to stay in New York, I was getting myself a big, mean-looking dog. I don't mean like a Rottweiler or anything like that, because most people look at a Rottweiler and go, yeah, that's dangerous. I'm talking about a husky. Something that looks harmless and pretty and got the big blue eyes and that curly tail. But I wanted to get one of them huskies that I've been looking at, that when you look at it, you go, are you a dog or are you something a little more dangerous of the canine sort, like, I don't know, a wolf? Because they might look pretty one night and look at you, but the second you do something to be dangerous or putting coming in the house without being introduced or being menacing in one form or another, the dog just kind of starts looking at you like, meat. I'm hungry. And you're in the wrong place. Dog with my kind of personality, where I'm like, hi, you're great and whatnot. Oh, are you going to threaten my wife? You're going to make fun of my family? You're going to do something, harmful? Yeah. Something like that. But more likely to rip your butt off the second you try to run. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, because I don't remember how long I talked before I interrupted the video because of the garbage man had cometh. And I've got a lot of projects to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and bid you guys a good day. You know what to do. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Comment about this video. And please only this video. I'm tired of trying to go, what video are you guys talking about? Because I don't remember that stuff on this current video. If you're new to my channel and are willing to be part of a positive chain of effect or cause, however you want to put it, I don't know if I'm the cause and you're the effect, or you're the effect or you're the cause and I'm the, I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. Your choice to hit the subscribe button and join. If you do that, there will be a little bell that pops up. You click on that and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. So until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.